Hey there, everybody. Welcome to a new America's Got Talent audition reaction. And thanks to the fine folks at AGT, there is a new sneak peek up for Tuesday's new episode. And it introduces us to Frenchie Babyy, a contestant who can contort their arms into all these weird places.
You're not actually
I was.
You're just kind of grabbing
I
yourself.
was a step away from doing the Macarena, but no, this is a really. It's an entertaining act. It is a talent that is pretty impossible to actually achieve, but we will go through it, talk about what we like about it, and does Frenchie Babyy have a chance of moving on to the next round? Before we do, though, if you guys do like this video, give us a like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. We have a lot of AGT coverage coming all season, and we don't want you to miss any of it.
So I love these kinds of acts.
Yeah.
I love contortionists. I love danger acts. I love all that stuff. And I love America's Got Talent because it is one of the only places that I get to see acts like this. It just isn't anywhere. So to be able to see somebody like Frenchie Babyy come on here, loved it. I thought it was cool. And we've seen a lot of different contortionists on this show. So the bar is pretty high with that. I mean, we've seen a lot of really, really good ones on this show.
We have, and I think that it is a show that contortionists can actually feel like it boosts their career on some level, and it gives them an opportunity to do some other different things. I think Troy James was on it, and he's gone on to he's played Ragdoll, and so there is a way for people to come on this show with this talent and go a little bit further. I really like this sort of act too. I think there's ways that you can evolve it and make it even more interesting, but I think for an audition, nobody knows you're gonna do something like this, so it's really just sort of about how can I scare the living you-know-what out of these people and throw as many weird things at them as possible.
Yeah, I like how he kind of came out and was like, oh, I'm going to be doing a dance act. And they're like, all right, let's see your dance act. And then he started doing, let's see what that was again. Right, something kind of like that, but crazy amazing.
It is a very unique talent. I always wonder, how do you realize you're good at this? Because I feel like you probably recognize, okay, I'm a good dancer, I can do various styles, but it's sort of like, oh, I can make my arms go in this direction and no arm should actually go, and then I'm going to do it with the rest of my body as well.
Yeah, I think it's something you just kind of fall into, where one day you're doing something, you're like, oh, my arm bends backwards. I had no idea.
Yeah, this guy, is the rehearsal for something like this, I think is just... It's almost shocking in a way that this man has probably spent at least, I don't know, hundreds of hours training his body to do something like this. That is nightmare fuel to me.
Yeah, and we've said before, there is a lot of people that have done this on this show. So where does he kind of stack up? I think this guy is going to be someone to watch. This was really, really well done. He used the whole stage. He came down through, where the judges are, all of that. And I think that that's really important with an act like this.
I think that's what's also pretty important with an act like this is, and sometimes AGT's really bad at this, they actually gave us some time to get to know him. And I feel like they do this a lot with singers, where you'll get this huge package where you'll understand their emotional point of view, and that way when they sing, you feel for them. And here we learned that Frenchie's had a particularly tough time. He was thrown out by his family, basically, because they did not accept him wanting to be a dancer. And so he's had a tough road, and he's really fighting for this craft that he believes in, that he's willing to put all of this time into. It makes me want to root for him more, because I know just a little bit more about him. This isn't just something that he's doing on a whim. He's risking almost everything in his life for it.
Yeah, he's risked his relationship with his family. I mean, there's tons of people out there that have been in that position where they're like, oh, I want to get into the arts in some sort of way. Oh, if you do that, you're going to be disowned. Most people would be like, okay, well then I guess I'll be a lawyer. I guess I'll be a doctor. I guess I'll be whatever it is that you're expecting me to be. Because losing your relationship with your parents is devastating. Nobody wants to do that. It's not something anyone actively looks to have happen.
Yeah.
So for him to go to his parents and say, this is what I want to do, and have them say, if you're going to go down this road, then this is what's going to happen. And then have Frenchie Babyy be like, it's in me to do. I need to do this. That is a huge thing for him to do, to sacrifice the relationship that he had with his family, or to have them throw him out, never speak to him. You know, of course, we're all here now being like, please make it that his family's going to see him on the show, that they'll come, they'll be in the audience if there is an audience down the road. We still don't know, right? But everybody wants that moment, and I am sure that AGT wants that moment.
Oh, I am sure the producers are already trying to figure out ways to have something happen here.
I'm just hoping that they probably will do this anyways, but I'm kind of hoping, because this is a family situation, that they are not going to get too involved in this, and that it will be something that will be more natural from Frenchie's parents, that they'll be like, yeah, you know what, we would like to come down, and not the producers pulling a Chris Harrison and going to their house and manipulating the whole situation.
Yeah, I think that eventually we'll see a more positive outcome with some of this, or at least I hope so, because I do think that Frenchie's going to move forward. I don't think there's any real risk in that. 99% of the time, the act that NBC puts out there in advance, of course they're going to put that person through. They're spending all this time getting you invested in them.
Of course. That's why we didn't have Sock Dude that threw up on himself on YouTube.
How did we not mention Sock Guy the other night? That's really the question I want to know.
Because I think he was like, we don't have enough Gong Show type acts, so can you go and get Bobby, the coffee guy who's working as a PA, and take his socks off and put them on his hands and put him on this chair, please? That's what I think happened.
Poor Bobby, he's having to come out there on stage and just ruin his stuff with coffee. But no, it's a very, I think they want us to root for him. I think the big challenge is obviously, acts like this never win AGT. Like, the closest thing I can think of is Kenichi, and he wasn't really a contortionist. He was more, even he could do, I guess, some contortionist stuff, but I think that it's just, people are so invested in singers. They you know, and I understand. It's easy to emotionally connect with them. It's a very universal thing. I think there are people who look at what Frenchy does and immediately, like, have that reaction almost like what Sophia had on the show, where she just gets grossed out by it. And it's difficult to watch sometimes, but it's a skill, and there are probably millions of people who can sing, and maybe, I don't know, thousands of people at most who can do this.
Yeah, that's the issue with it is an incredible talent. It's a cool talent. It's a scary talent to watch. It can gross people out. But there is so few people that can do this that the talent itself is not relatable. But with singing, you can be relating to somebody, whether you're also a singer, you're a wannabe singer, what they've sung hits you in your heart. It's way more difficult for what Frenchy is doing. That's why I'm really happy that they did decide to give us some backstory on what is going on, because that is a story that a lot of people can relate to. And whether or not people's parents cut them out and are like, oh, you're going to be a dancer, get out. The actual fight of this is what I want to do with my life, and your parents being like, nah, dude, that's not what, we didn't put all this time for you to go and do this. Yeah. That's a fight that I think a lot of people can relate to and be like, oh man, you know, I didn't end up following my dream, but here's Frenchy and he's doing it. So maybe I could have done it, or maybe I'm going to do it. And that's the pull for Frenchy.
So I like to be reasonably, I like to offer suggestions to various acts at this point, and I'm not going to suggest anything crazy here. I think this is actually what I think Frenchy should do moving forward. Is I think he needs to find a way to incorporate this more into something that is more lyrical, that is more of storytelling, that is a little bit more, okay, I'm utilizing this as sort of a part of my dance, because everyone knows that it's coming now. So you can't really just shock people by doing all the moves. I think you have to find a way to turn it more into something more akin to a kind of a standard dance performance, except with this kind of in the place of a lot of traditional dance movements, and just make something that's different, completely different from what you did, but still accent the talent that you have.
Yeah, because we don't know at this point. This is the first time we've seen him.
Yeah.
Is this the only contortion stuff he's able to do? Is there other stuff with his body he's holding on to that we haven't seen yet? My feeling is there probably is something else that he hasn't shared with us. But we have seen contortionists on the show where they haven't held back anything, and then it was kind of a repeat of the same thing to different music, and they didn't really go anywhere. So I'm hoping that there's more that he's got in the tank. I would also like to see him have something with more of a story along with a song, so that he can bring us on a journey with it. And now it's not just shocking. Now it's bring us on a shocking journey.
Well, let's hope this shocking journey, it does come in the future. We will have more, of course, on AGT over the coming days. So be sure to subscribe so you don't miss any of our other reactions, and let us know what you thought about the Frenchie Babyy audition in the comments. And if you do want to support us further, check out the link in the description to the store, and we'll see you here next time.